The X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X Zone Radio Show or endorsed in any manner by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, the X Zone Broadcast Network, its affiliated networks, stations, employees, or advertisers.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Welcome back, everyone. This is the X Zone. I am Rob McConnell, coming to you from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. For those of you who may be joining us for the first time are saying, well, where is Hamilton? Well, Ontario. Well, Hamilton, Ontario, we're on the shores of Lake Ontario. And if you find Toronto on the map and you find Niagara Falls on the map, right in between is where you'll find Hamilton. And if you're ever up in Canada, it's a beautiful part of Canada. Mind you, every part of Canada is beautiful, so come on up. We love having visitors, especially from our neighbors to the south. X Zone Nation, my guest this hour is DEVI Stern, and she is a certified Eden Energy Medicine practitioner and a certified Eden Energy Medicine for Woman instructor. And she is also a graduate of Cornell University and has a MS degree in biology from Northeastern Illinois University. DEVI taught high school biology and subsequently did endocrinology research at Northwestern Medical School at the Children's Memorial Hospital in Chicago. In her leisure time, she performed with the International Dancers of Chicago Folk Dance Troupe and has taught and enjoyed dance and movement all of her life. Joining us now to talk about energy medicine is DEVI Stern. And DEVI, welcome to the X Zone.
Hi. Actually, I didn't know that that's what I would be talking about. I thought I would be talking about my new book.
Well, this is the bio that you sent us, dear.
Oh, I did not send you it, but that's okay, because I will talk about anything you like, but just maybe the viewers would like to know that the reason that Llewellyn, who is the publisher of the book, wanted me to do this interview was because the book, which is called Energy Healing and Kabbalah, is all about energy medicine and mysticism combined.
All right.
So what, more than energy medicine, yeah.
Well, why don't you tell us about the book?
Oh, okay. Well, it's a how-to book. It's a book about healing yourself, and in the process of healing yourself, healing the world. And it uses the physical aspects of energy exercises, energy wellness exercises, specifically from Eden Energy Medicine and other Eden-like energy medicine practices, and combines them with spiritual concepts from Kabbalah. Kabbalah is Jewish mysticism, and so putting the two together, the mystical and the physical, creates a total body healing that's really based in love. And then that love hopefully radiates out and heals the world.
All right, so what is the history of Kabbalah, of the Kabbalah?
All right, well, it's not really people say the Kabbalah, but Kabbalah doesn't really have a the, because it's not one thing. It's a whole mystical tradition. A lot of religions have mystical traditions. I'm sure you're aware of that. There's Gnosticism in Christianity and Sufism in Islam. And Kabbalah is the Jewish mystical tradition. And it dates from probably the beginning of Jewish history. Some people say that Abraham, the patriarch, was a Kabbalist. And since everything was oral tradition back then, and there's really no way of knowing who started it and who said what, but they were teaching each other down through the generations very esoteric inquiries into the nature of God and what was the purpose of life, etc. It wasn't until until the printing press was, no, not even, it's before the printing press, because they were handwritten manuscripts. Around 1200, in the 1200s, then text started to be written down, and then there was less confusion about what had been taught, because in an oral tradition there can be a lot of variety. And the people that were the Kabbalists, if you want to, the people who were studying Kabbalah, who are, by the way, pretty much only men, it was a boys' club from day one. They were all over the place. A lot of Kabbalists lived in Spain in the Golden Age before the Inquisition, when the Jews and the Muslims were creating great philosophies and libraries. Kabbalists were in Spain and France, in the ancient cities in Israel, specifically Tzfat, in the mountains of the Galilee. And these men were studying pretty much around the clock, 6 days a week, trying to get to higher levels of consciousness, bring in what they called the higher light, what they called Ruach HaKodesh, which means Holy Spirit, but what it meant to them was higher consciousness, the light of higher consciousness. And with the light of higher consciousness, heal the world. So the problem was that because they were so focused in their heads, they didn't really have a sense of the physical, their physical bodies. They pretty much ignored their physical bodies. They thought it was detrimental to involve the physical body because it would interfere with their mental processes of meditation and prayer and ecstatic states. So what I tried to do was take aspects of the physical through energy work and combine them with the Kabbalistic ideas that were studied for many generations pretty much by men. It's a different situation now, by the way.
But why back then why was it just men back then? Why couldn't women get involved?
That's a really fine question. It was, why couldn't women do a lot of things?
Exactly.
I mean, women had their roles, and the roles were very strictly defined. And actually, from my point of view, one of the reasons that women couldn't get involved was because they had to work to support their husbands who were studying full-time.
So basically, the woman catered to the man so he could get away from doing work and get away from his responsibilities?
Oh, but you see, he was considered, to be a scholar was the highest level of being. I mean, it was the highest occupation. If you had a scholar in your family, it was better than anything.
But what did these scholars? What did these scholars actually accomplish?
That's a very good question. They eventually created manuscripts.
Okay.
For connecting to higher consciousness and bringing the higher consciousness into the world. They were going for enlightenment. So, I mean, what is the purpose of enlightenment? That's a fine question. I think that a lot of people would like to have more of a sense of why they're here. What is the meaning of life? And that's what the Kabbalists were endeavoring to find out and transmit that knowledge to the wider population.
So what did they transmit? What did they find out? What did they learn?
They learned how to get up there into the higher states of consciousness and connect to divine energy with visions and ecstatic states and bring down higher consciousness. Now, it's very esoteric and it's very abstract. I couldn't tell you A, B, C that they actually accomplished because they weren't working in the physical world. They were working in the spiritual world. And for those ideas to filter down to us, that's something beyond the comprehension, my comprehension in any case, which is why I wanted to connect Kabbalistic symbolism to the physical body, which is something they did not do.
So they spent all this time in a higher state of consciousness. But
Right.
at the end of the day, or to this very day, how has it changed the world?
Well, one of the main ideas in Kabbalah has to do with the balance of opposites, the balance of masculine and feminine specifically.
Okay.
Because Kabbalah talks about the main idea of Kabbalah is relationship, the relationship of God as the creator to what God created, which is us, the creator to the creation.
Mm-hmm.
And in Kabbalah, the creation needs to become enlightened. That's the whole purpose. We need to become enlightened to go back into the oneness that originally was. Because originally there was only God, and Kabbalists believe we're going back to that state, which is the world to come. And in order to do that, we need to be enlightened. And every step that they taught gets us closer to the time of enlightenment.
All right, stand by. You and I have to take our first break. Exonation, our guest this hour is DEVI Stern. Her website is you ready? Dragonflyhealer.com. That's www.dragonflyhealer.com. And we'll be back on the other side of this break as we continue here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X Zone radio show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X Zone broadcast network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
You have heard of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV. Plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X Zone, sci-fi, and horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
Modern Esoteric, Beyond Our Senses by Brad Olson, consummates the lifeology story about where humanity originates. It is the lost continents, the primitive wisdom, the mythos of creation, and the rethinking of ancient history as we are taught in academia. There is much more to the story than what we have been told. As this is the first book in the Esoteric series, Modern Esoteric starts at the beginning of time and accelerates up to this modern age. Future Esoteric is book 2 in the series and takes a forward-looking position ahead of today with an open and honest examination of the ET issue and various unexplained phenomena. To discover the writings of author Brad Olson, visit www.bradolson.com. That's www.bradolson.com. DEVI Stern is our guest this hour, Exonation, www.dragonflyhealer.com. So what was it, DEVI, that inspired you or fed your curiosity to a point that you wanted to study the Kabbalah?
Well, I actually started studying Kabbalah and energy medicine at just about the same time, which was a very interesting situation. I mean, it wasn't something that I set out to do because, as I mentioned, Kabbalah was really a man's world, and until after World War II, when most of the Kabbalists in Europe were no longer alive, the field became more open. And with the internet now, it's really open, and anybody can study it that wants to. You don't have to be, the restrictions were very strict back in the day. You had to be a man, you had to be at least 40 years old, you had to be a scholar, you had to be married, you had to be very stable and willing to devote the time that, the 6 days a week, the Sabbath, they were off. That's when they spent with their wives. So for me, I mean, I didn't know anything about Kabbalah at all because it was just not something that was taught to us in any kind of religious school. Plus, the ideas are very sophisticated. It would be nice if children could be taught Kabbalah, but they really wouldn't understand the sophisticated level of the concept. So for me, I mean, this was 20 years ago, and I was teaching dance.
Right.
At the Solomon Schechter schools in Chicago, and I was asked to choreograph the Kabbalistic creation story, and I said, what is that? I had no clue. I did not know there was a Kabbalistic creation story. So luckily for me, my daughter was studying in a university Kabbalah class at the time, and she knew the story, and she told it to me, and she helped me choreograph. But it really opened my eyes to that whole other field that I just knew nothing about. And
well, what is the Kabbalistic creation story, and how does it differ?
Oh no, I'm not going to spoil that. That's a whole chapter in the book.
Well, wait a minute. Whoa. That's not how it works around here. You opened the door.
Okay, I'll give you a little summary of it. It's basically a spiritual Big Bang. What happened was that God tried several times to create the world. The first time he created light, right? Let there be light. That's the first line of Genesis. So where was the light? The light was in a vessel that the light was in vessels, but the vessels had no relationship to each other. They basically, when they filled too much, they exploded. And that's called the shattering of the vessels. And when the vessels shattered, some of the light came back up to the Creator, but some of it fell down and down and down into the depths. And by the time it got down into the depths, it had coagulated, and it was thick and yucky and covered with shells or husks. And so it couldn't be seen.
So help me understand why there is such a difference, and why the difference between the Kabbalistic way of looking at the philosophy that they believe in compared to the philosophy that Christians believe in.
I have no idea about Christian philosophy. I'm sorry, I can't answer that. But let me get back to the story, okay? Because it's not over yet.
Okay.
All right? So the whole purpose, one of the main purposes of Kabbalah is what's called uncovering the sparks, the repair of the world. And how do you do that? You have to clean away the husks that are covering the light. And we all have the light in us. That's the immanent form of the divine that is within each of us. That's namaste, right? But we're covered by skin. We're covered by opaqueness that makes us feel that we're separate, and yet we're not separate because the light is the light. There's one light, and there's one God. So eventually the idea is that all of the husk will be removed, and then all the light will be returned, and we'll all be light bodies again. Because according to Kabbalah, Adam and Eve were created as light bodies. They were not in physical bodies. And we are meant to go back into light bodies eventually. So that's called repair of the world, tikkun olam. And that's what the Kabbalists were trying to do when they brought down the light, when they brought down the new consciousness. They were trying to unconceal the light that had come down in the shattering of the vessels.
Why do you think that? Now you said that, and I believe you said that it was a very intense philosophy. Why is it so intense? Why are some philosophies, so hard to understand? Why do philosophies like this take so much learning? Why is it basically require so much studying 6 days a week? You know, if I was a god or if I was a deity, I would want to make it as simple as I could so that everybody would understand, and therefore there would be no doubt, no need for other philosophies or other ideas, because my idea would be so simple, everybody could try it and see that it's the truth.
Well, you know what? I wasn't there back then.
But you wrote a book on it.
I know, but I don't. This is not a book about Kabbalah. This is a book about Kabbalistic healing, which is different. Kabbalah is a vast subject. These men studied it their whole lives. I've only been studying it for 20 years. And I study it. I take 3 classes a week still, and I hopefully will continue for forever, because it's very difficult to understand. It's very difficult to understand. You still need to have somebody explain the way it's written in code. It's very complicated. Energy medicine, however, is not so complicated. Thank goodness. I understand energy medicine a lot more than I understand Kabbalah. But I know enough Kabbalah that I was able to discern some very basic truths, as you say, some very simple truths, and put them in a form that anybody can understand, which is what you just suggested.
Yeah.
That was really one of the hardest things for me, to make it easy enough for someone who knew nothing about Kabbalah to be able to use certain concepts along with the energy concepts and create something brand new.
So who did you study under to learn about the Kabbalah?
I am still studying with several people. The men have all been rabbis. The women have just been extremely educated and talented. If you want, I can name names, but there's really quite a list, and I don't want to leave anybody out. Right now, I'm studying primarily with a scholar, a woman scholar who lives in the old city of Jerusalem named Sarah Yehudit Schneider, who wrote a book called Kabbalistic Writings on the Nature of the Masculine and Feminine, and she is brilliant. But that's not Kabbalistic healing. I studied Kabbalistic healing with a woman named Dr. Shems Principali, and she is still around, and I'm still studying with her too.
So what is Kabbalistic healing then?
Kabbalistic healing has many forms. The way I was taught by Dr. Principali, it was a mental process. It related to the physical body, but it wasn't in the physical body. So I needed to take what she taught and combine it with the energy work that I had been taught that involved the physical body. Because when you're doing Kabbalistic healing, you're not getting, it's not like taking an aspirin and your headache goes away. It's much more, it's on a spiritual plane. So when it drips down and gets to the physical plane, that's great. But you're not really in control of that. You ask for the highest good of the person, you do the healing, and then hopefully it happens. You have that intention.
So what can Kabbalistic healing heal?
It can heal anything.
Does it heal cancer?
It can.
Have you seen that firsthand?
straight Kabbalistic healing,
Yeah.
it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell because you don't know the results. You don't see the results. That's why it's a little unsatisfying to do straight Kabbalistic healing. It's much more helpful for me to do the energy healing with the Kabbalistic healing because then I can see the results.
All right, you and I have to take our news break at the bottom of the hour. Please stand by. X-Zone Nation. DEVI Stern is our guest. Her website is dragonflyhealer.com, and we'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't forget, the X-Zone TV show is available at xzonetv.com. We are on Simul TV on the X-Zone channel at www.simultv.com. Don't forget, you need the 2-box set that includes over 500 video games, 80 channels, movies, and a whole lot more in order to get the X-Zone channel. To find out all about that, www.simultv.com. This is the X-Zone. I am Rob McConnell. We're coming to you around the world on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, Talkstar Radio Network, Mutual Broadcast Network, and of course our good friends on iHeartRadio. We'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away.
From our broadcast studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, to the world and beyond, you're watching the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net.
AVS Media Den.
You have heard of the X-Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, sci-fi, and horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world, interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365. Rob McConnell here, presenting an overview for Nicholas Paul Jennings, author of a fascinating book, Amen. It presents facts revealed by Egyptologists, facts that enable us to understand why Amen is the beginning of creation of God. It provides recommendations for religious leaders of the major religions to unify their beliefs and teach the Word of God. Love one another. Amen informs people how mankind conceived God. It was the Egyptians that developed the concepts of a soul, a hereafter, and Son of God. And finally, after the worship of many gods, they conceived the belief in one universal God, the maker of all there is. For more information, visit www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com. Devi Stern is our guest, Exonation. www.dragonflyhealer.com. All right, Debbie, tell me about energy healing then.
Okay. All right. What would you like to know?
What is it? How does it work?
What is it? Okay. All right. That's a good place to start. What is it? Well, everything is energy. I didn't say that. Einstein said it, and I believe him, even though he's not here anymore. And we have a physical body. Most of us learn the physical anatomy in high school, and we have an energy anatomy as well. And a lot of people understand energy anatomy without ever having seen it. We understand that there's an aura that surrounds us. We understand that from acupuncture, a lot of people now are familiar with acupuncture, that there are rivers of energy that flow through the body called meridians, that there are chakras. As people do yoga, they know that there are vortexes of energy that are on various places of the body, specifically down the midline. And there are other aspects of the energy body as well. Donna Eaton, who has been my main energy teacher, although I have had many, sees energy and describes 9 different actual energy systems that are all communicating with each other and moving within the energy body. The energy is the basis of atoms, right? And we're made of atoms and molecules, so we're electromagnetic beings. And that shows up in the way our energies are communicating with each other and flowing and connected to the earth through gravity and the fact that our blood is magnetic also because of hemoglobin. So when our energies are communicating with each other, when they're freely flowing, when they're balanced, we feel great. We are resilient. We get up and don't have issues emotionally or physically. But unfortunately, life is full of stress. One of the biggest stresses that we all have is change. And the energy body does not like change. So very often, it's simply the fact that things are changing around us a lot that cause our energies to go out of balance. And sometimes they get stuck as well. Energy medicine is the process of putting them back so that they are all happy and flowing and communicating and giving us the resilience and vitality that we need to fulfill our life in the best way possible. So what as I mentioned, I've studied with a lot of teachers, but I really connected to Donna Eden because she taught us a way of working with energies even if we couldn't see them. I can feel them and I can sense them, but I can't see them. And actually, even though many people can see them, people can see auras, Donna can see everything. She can see meridians, she can see chakras, everything in color. But most people who see energy don't know what they're looking at. It could just be, like a blur. I can't even imagine what it would look like to see energy and not know what you were seeing. But Donna studied a program called Touch for Health, which taught her a technique called applied kinesiology, which is also known as muscle testing or energy testing. And that is how she teaches us to assess what's going on in the energy body, because there are tests for everything to figure out if things are stuck, if they're out of balance. And the beauty of it is that you can learn to do it on yourself. So you can figure out where you're out of balance in any given moment and do a simple exercise and get yourself back and create boundaries. If you're taking on stuff that you don't want to be taking on, you can manage stress. You can help with different physical ailments. It's an all-purpose type of healing, but it's not spiritual.
If this works like you say it does, how come it's not used by Western medicine?
That is a very good question. I would give you 2 answers to that.
Okay.
One is that Western medicine, and am I coming in okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Western medicine is based on on alleviating symptoms. Except we're not talking about surgery now. Surgery is something else. But we're talking about you go to the doctor, you have a condition, the doctor gives you medicine, you feel better. Are you cured? Probably not. But your symptoms have gone away and you feel better. The drug companies do not really want anybody to be cured because then they would lose their clients. Right? So that's one aspect. That Western medicine is looking to alleviate symptoms. They're not looking to alleviate the cause of why you got whatever you got in the first place. And the other aspect is really a problem because there is tons and tons of anecdotal information of people being healed and cured and across the board with energy work. But there haven't been scientific double-blind studies done on these situations, and so they can't be written up.
So why?
There's a group of energy medicine practitioners who are trying to go with the scientific model so that it can be proven that these things work. But at this point, it's really anecdotal, and it's a shame because it really does work.
How does it work?
How does it work?
Yep.
It works by reconnecting energies that are not speaking to each other well, not communicating well. It works by unblocking energies that are blocked, creating flowing pathways. Once if energies are flowing and balanced, you are well. That's the definition of wellness. When they aren't, that's when something goes wrong in the body, and eventually it lands in the physical body. Usually it starts out in the emotional body or the mental body, and eventually it comes into the physical body. And then it's a little harder to reverse, but it can definitely be done. I've seen it in my clients. I've seen it in my own life.
So what kind of ailments has, as a practitioner and on the clients that you have used energy medicine on, what kind of ailments have been cured?
Cured?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I would say that a lot of people that come to me are stuck. They're just stuck. Their energy reflects the fact that they are at one point in their life and they want to be someplace else. People who go to see energy practitioners do not go to see them first. They've already been to the doctors, most of them, unless they truly believe that Western medicine is not something for them. There are people like that. They only want alternative medicine. But a lot of people have been to doctors, and the doctors have not been able to help them in the way that they need to be helped. So they end up with an energy medicine practitioner. And very often, it's whatever is going on is a stressful situation, and they know that they want to be in a certain place, but they're not there, and they can't get themselves there. So if you talk about being cured, yes. I mean, my whole reason for doing energy work with somebody is to teach them how to do it themselves, because the energy body does not like big changes quickly. It will resist big change quickly. It wants to move slowly and organically and come back to the original state of flow and balance.
But unfortunately, that's not the reality of life.
That is not the reality of life. But you can be much more in flow and in balance if you do a regular practice of energy medicine. And we're talking maybe 5 minutes a day of very, very simple exercises that connect on a very basic level. Get your energies talking to each other, get them balanced, connect to the earth, get toxins out of your body, create boundaries. And then everybody's unique. So there are specific exercises that you might need that I wouldn't. And that's something that a practitioner figures out and helps you figure out so that you create your own wellness.
How much of energy medicine is a placebo effect?
Oh, I don't think any of it is a placebo effect. And I know the placebo effect is a big deal, but it works even if you don't believe it.
then I'm going to go back to my original question that I asked earlier. Why doesn't Western medicine acknowledge this? It just can't be. It just cannot be because of the big pharma connection that so many New Agers
but
like to point
there
at.
haven't been scientific studies to prove what it does.
But once again, if it was as important as the New Age practitioners make it out to be, then science would be in there like wet shoes, trying to get it to the point that it could be recognized. Because in my opinion, science is not against people. Science is for people.
No. Yes, of course it is. And very slowly, it is making inroads. There are programs in certain cancer hospitals where they're using energy medicine. It's being taught to nurses in some cases. We have a lot of nurses who've taken it.
All right, we've got to take our final break. Please stand by. Exonation Devi Stern is our guest. www.dragonflyhealer.com, and we'll both be back on the other side as we continue here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away.
You have heard of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X Zone, sci-fi, and horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
The new nonfiction book, Razor of Madness, is similar to cult movies like Clockwork Orange, Dragon's Tattoo, or The Other Side of Hell. Wayne Morin Jr. and Thomas Lee Howe will expose widespread and systematic deficiencies in this thought-provoking tell-all novel. Mind control rages among scholars in law schools. Human rights are ignored while thought reform and mental manipulation are accepted practices used as behavior modification. Dr. Louis Jolyon West comes to mind. Media and public scrutiny shows that United States mental hospitals are in fact destructive murder industries. Razor of Madness expose novel details this epidemic through an in-depth professional and personal investigation. For decades, there has been a revolving door policy that still releases killers and pedophiles back into society. The maestro of mind control continues to haunt America to this very day. Razor of Madness is available in paperback or as a downloadable ebook at Amazon.com.
I'm William S. Peckham. If you enjoy a good mystery with a touch of the paranormal, then you'll love my novel, From Out of the Woodwork. It's the story of a young Toronto contractor, Sean Kennedy, who buys derelict homes, guts them, and turns them into multi-family dwellings. Slums just waiting to happen. When Sean buys 29 Livery Lane, the house fights back. Former owners unexpectedly come out of the woodwork as he starts the destruction. The apparitions come to him when he touches old books, reads hidden letters, rummages through old boxes, finds a locket, or reads a discovered manuscript of a murder mystery. From Out of the Woodwork will take you from 1899 to the horror of the World Trade Center, September 11, 2001. Check out From Out of the Woodwork on my website, www.williamspeckham.com.
Debbie Stern is our guest, www.dragonflyhealer.com. How long do these energy healing sessions last, Debbie?
Well, different practitioners do them differently. I usually have my client on the table for at least an hour, but that's after having done an intake and discussed with them what we're going to do and found out what it is that they would like. You know, people come to me with all sorts of issues: insomnia, digestive problems, scars that won't heal. It really runs the gamut, and so how long a session is can vary. But the important thing is that the person knows when they leave me how to take care of themselves and how to get their energies back to normal on a daily basis.
Now, what is the average cost per hour for energy healing work that a practitioner would charge a client?
Oh, again, that is a very individual thing. My sessions are usually 2 hours long, and I charge $150 a session.
Right.
However, I teach at places where it's considerably less than that, and many people never come to me for an individual session because they learn enough in a class to take care of themselves and handle whatever situation they're dealing with.
Then why wouldn't insurance companies cover the cost of these sessions if, number one, they work, and number two, they're a lot less expensive than what the insurance companies have to pay the medical practitioners?
I think that's going to be the trend of the future. Right now it isn't the case, but 20 years ago, acupuncture wasn't covered either, and now in many cases it is. And chiropractic wasn't covered. So things are slowly evolving. Energy medicine doesn't cost anything. Once you learn how to do it on yourself, you can do it whenever you need it without going to calling anybody, just kind of figuring out what's going on in your own body and correcting it right then and there, and no side effects and no cost.
Is there any condition that energy medicine will not work on?
Oh, I'm sure there is, but
have you come up with any? Have you come across any?
I'm sure that there are many conditions that I don't know about. Let me put it that way. The people that show up at my doorstep, they have found me because I can help them. I believe that. If anybody is coming to see me, it's because they are meant to see me. And if I can't help them, I will find somebody who has an expertise that is different from mine. For example, I had a client a few weeks ago who really was very, very touch deprived, and I thought that was the essence of his issue.
I'm sorry. What was his problem?
He was touch deprived. He had nobody in his life that was touching him.
I see.
At all.
Okay.
And I sent him to a professional cuddlist.
A what?
A professional cuddlist.
What the name of heavens is that?
It's a person who holds other people professionally. I've never
heard of that before.
There have been cuddle parties. They call it truthful touch sometimes. I mean, I'm not going to do an advertisement for her, but it's working out very well for him. So that would be a case where I could only work with him up to a point because I wasn't about to start cuddling with him, and that's what he needed. And that's an energy. That's definitely an energy, but that's not in my realm of expertise, and it was in hers. Professional cuddlist.
And it just keeps on getting stranger at times. I've never heard of that.
It does, doesn't it?
Wouldn't a puppy or a kitten help?
I think he needed a human being.
Okay. When it comes to the treatment methods of energy healing, Do the treatment methods change, like medical procedures change with time?
Well, Donna Eden has created energy medicine, but she has a lot of people who have studied with her who had their own backgrounds. For example, some of her faculty have doctorates in Oriental medicine. They have other expertise. And they take what they know and add it into the mix so that we're always evolving based on different people's perspectives. And then you can kind of pick and choose what works for you.
I see. Is there any age range that energy healers focus on? For example, would energy healing work on a young person? Would it work on an adolescent? Does it work on a senior citizen?
Donna has done energy medicine on babies as they're born.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about this other lady. I want to talk about you.
But a lot of us don't have access to babies as they're born. I have never done energy medicine on a baby that was being born, but I have done it on children.
Okay.
With their parents there, and hopefully the parents will learn some of the techniques because the child is, in some cases, too young to be able to do the techniques on themselves, but the parent can.
And what would a child need energy healing for?
Well, it could be behavioral. I had a child who had a severed energy in their in the energy that runs up their back, and they had some bladder issues that we were able to correct. I've had children with irritable bowel syndrome that have been helped by energy medicine. Let me think of some other children who had trouble studying for exams, who just had mental blocks. I had one child a very long time ago who was an artist and had to pass chemistry. He just had to pass chemistry, and we had a session. I taught him some techniques. He passed chemistry. Now he's an artist. But, there are all kinds of issues that children could show up with. And it's great for any age. I mean, we're all alive until we die, and we're all made of energy that hopefully is moving until the moment that it stops, and then we're gone.
It seems that now, what I can't understand is why these people go to. Let me rephrase it. Why are the New Age practitioners always the last stop for these people?
That's a good question. And, truthfully, a lot of people do both. There's nothing wrong with Western medicine up to a point. And sometimes it's the two together, the energy approach with the Western medicine, that does the trick. But why they come to an energy person, maybe because it's still considered a little far out, like acupuncture used to be, or chiropractic used to be. I mean, we're not talking that long ago that those were considered really kind of, you go to an acupuncturist, you're a little weird.
Well,
not that way anymore.
Well, I guess it all depends on who you are and what your core values and beliefs are as well.
Yeah, and how you were raised.
Yeah. Like, I'll be honest with you, I would take my child to, like, I'm a dad, I've got 6 children, and we've got 11 grandchildren, 12 is on its way.
Wow.
And I can't see myself taking one of my sick children or my grandchildren to an alternative medical practitioner instead of an emergency center or a Western medically trained doctor.
Western medicine definitely has a role to play in wellness.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely, especially when it comes to accidents and surgeries and dire conditions that are life-threatening. Because energy medicine may not work in like in a split second. But over time, as you get the energy body back to its more flowing and balanced state, then the person has wellness. But, somebody who's getting chemotherapy, they're putting poison in their body, and the symptoms can be alleviated. The side effects can be alleviated with energy medicine. Don't stop the chemo. Just do something alternative for the side effects. Go hand in hand.
But once
there's a place for both.
If you believe in it.
You're not. If you don't believe in it, you're not going to show up for an energy medicine session.
Right.
But in demonstrations that I have seen, skeptics have become non-skeptics when they see the results of muscle testing, because the beauty of muscle testing is that you can see that something that was weak, that gave you a weak signal, all of a sudden is strong, and you can feel the difference very often. Even people who don't think that they sense energy or see energy, they feel a difference in their body in some way that is it's a profound change that they go, oh, wow.
Devi, I hate, we've run out of time for tonight. I want to thank you for joining us. Exonation, I'll stick to the medical practitioner who has a certificate on his wall from an accredited university, who spent his dues learning and really taking care of people. Sorry, guys, New Age medicine, alternative medicine does not cut it with this guy. Because there is no governing body. There is no one to say you're allowed to do this, you're allowed to do that. And why that's important, because these practitioners do not know everything. We'll be back on the other side of this break as we continue here in the X Zone. Don't go away.
Modern Esoteric, Beyond Our Senses by Brad Olson, consummates the lifology story about where humanity originates. It is the lost continents, the primitive wisdom, the mythos of creation, and the rethinking of ancient history as we are taught in academia. There is much more to the story than what we have been told. As this is the first book in the Esoteric series, Modern Esoteric starts at the beginning of time and accelerates up to this modern age. Future Esoteric is book 2 in the series and takes a forward-looking position ahead of today with an open and honest examination of the ET issue and various unexplained phenomena. To discover the writings of author Brad Olson, visit www.bradolson.com. That's www.bradolson.com. Are you, or is someone you know, struggling with addictions, depression, anxiety, relationships, low self-esteem, lack of confidence, grief, success, and prosperity? Do you know that your subconscious belief plays a big role in the outcome of your hard work? We can help you permanently change the beliefs that may be the reason for your struggles and failures. We care about getting you the return on your investment and the results you are looking for. We can help you be free of the limitations of your past and in realizing your highest potential. We work with people by phone and Skype. For more information, visit us at www.ritasoman.com. That's www.ritasoman.com. Do you think you have energy problems in your home? Do you feel better when you're away than when you're home? Joey Korn is a global leader in the world of dowsing who specializes in personal energy clearing and space clearing. He can help you create an ideal energy environment in your home no matter where you live in the world. Learn about his remote spiritual house cleaning services and much more at www.dowsers.com. You can get Joey's book, Dowsing, A Path to Enlightenment, as well as other dowsing books and tools, Kabbalah books, and Walter Russell books. Joey's work is really amazing. Go to dowsers.com right now. That's DOWSERS.com or call 1-877-DOWSING. That's 1-877-369-7464.